Is that how you say it?
Atuonah or tuna is fine.
Oh, I want to say it correctly. So, all right, if you could tell us the school that you attend and the grade that you're in, and then you are good to start.
Okay. So my name is Angel Atuonah and I attend Frederick Douglass High School and I am a 12th grader.
All right, you're good to start.
Okay. 68 years ago, I got to go to a well-funded school. 57 years ago, I got the right to vote. 39 years ago, I became Miss Universe. 17 years ago, I was elected for the first Secretary of State, and last year, I was elected as the first Vice President. People achieved this greatness, but it wasn't just people. It was people who look like me, people who inspire me, people who struggle like me, and people who represent me. And it was all done by a Black woman. For a Black woman to take place on the Supreme Court, it makes me feel like I can achieve anything. So when the question presents itself, is it affirmative action or about time? It's like asking, is it because she's Black or is it because she's qualified? And never have I heard of a person of color profiting off of their discrimination. Affirmative action, to think about that word makes me think about white guilt. White people are guilty and they struggle to see the success someone has because of their skin. And that is superficial. In 1994, the state of Maryland decided that at least 10% of its contracts would award go to minority and female-owned firms, and it meant more than its goal. But how well do these sheltered businesses survive a long term without extraordinary protection? And with almost 30% of Black families still living in poverty, what is the real effects? Affirmative action doesn't work, and Ketanji Brown Jackson being nominated for the first Black woman on the Supreme Court is a product of her own success. But for a moment, let's forget this Black woman title. Let's remember the experience Ketanji Brown Jackson has racked up over the years. So let me state it to you. Ketanji Brown Jackson has a bachelor's degree in government from Harvard University and their law school. She's a judge for her district for 8 years, and she's a member of the Harvard Board of Overseers, which is a senior governing board. She has extensive expertise in criminal law and journalism, and I don't think I even need to keep going because she is the most qualified out of everyone sitting at the Supreme Court today. The next time a white person is in a position of power, I want to know what their qualifications are. She's more than qualified. She raises 2 daughters. She's a mother. She's been through a struggle. She's been racially profiled. She's worried what kind of world her girls will grow up in. Black women always receive the short end of the stick. And yet, when their education is higher than everyone else, it's all of a sudden affirmative action. Black women educate themselves so that nobody has to question the decision because there's nothing more memorable than proving someone wrong with a degree. I can relate this to something. I want to explain an experience I came across recently. As a senior in high school, I have to go through the college experience. Now, to be realistic, there's a lot more predominantly white institutions than historically Black colleges. So it's common that my list ends up being mainly PWIs. On the homepage of any, if not every PW website, I always see a diverse set of students. I see Black students scattered around the campus on the website, but when I actually visit the school, I don't really see the same amount of students. We're on the homepage for the school to look diverse, most likely, but never once did I question if the student earned their place at that school. How would you feel if you were a Black student and you got into prestigious college after acing the ACT, having the best stats, and someone told you the only reason you got in was because of affirmative action? Everyone wants diversity, but at the cost of accepting someone who doesn't meet the requirement, it's unlikely. You see, what is happening here is stereotypes. People of color are the ones assumed to not have the proper education. People of color are the ones assumed to have the violent. People of color are the ones who are always the center of assumption. Diversity doesn't mean you get an advantage because you are Black. It means you get acknowledged for the past so we can better the future. As a Black woman, my skin is my history. Every crack and crevice is an experience. And in my skin, there is slavery. In my skin, there is a battle for women's rights. In my skin, there is domestic violence. In my skin, there is stereotypes. In my skin, there is police brutality. I will repeat, Black skin is history. The clock ticks faster and time turns every single day. In 24 hours, 12 months, 365 days, the world still turns. But even with all that time, change happens now. It's about time a Black woman receives the opportunities they deserve. It's about time. Thank you.
Please, everyone feel free to use reactions. I know it's hard on Zoom, but that's why it's so important to keep videos on so that she can see our smiling faces and such. But amazing job. Thank you so much, Angel. So now we're gonna have the judges. Miss Lewis is gonna accompany them into the breakout room for